Well, hello and welcome to another tutorial. I haven't done so many tutorials for, well, I just don't do them. And the reason I don't do them is because I work a bit higgledy-piggledy and it's not really great for a tutorial, but I try and keep it as best I can when I do a tutorial. So, yeah, somebody did ask me to actually make this one, so that's why I'm doing this. This is a continuation from the last tutorial I did about the pulling away the police car and so if you've already got it there, then great. Okay, so you've got your pre-composed layer. Now yours probably won't say pre-composed too, but it'll say pre-composed, right? So yeah, this is the cop car pulling away sort of thing, and as you can see, I've got motion blur on, which is makes it look a lot better. And so what you want to do is, as you've got it to this point, I'm just going to go through these sort of moves that I did. What you do is you go along your pre-composed layer until the car is actually nearly ready to go to pull away, that you've actually set it at. So if you go along and keep going along until you get, so I've already got the wheels spinning first, you see, but let's go out of there. Okay, now it's pulling away, so you want to back it just a bit there, and then leave your marker right there where it is, right? And double click your pre-composed layer so you can get into it. And we've got a lot of stuff here, but anyway, so you got your back wheels, which is your back wheel null, and as you can see, the back wheel null, I've got it, the back wheel starting to spin before it pulls away, so it gives it a bit of a sort of a spin wheel thing. And I've got the front wheel, as you can see, down here, which actually starts to turn when it actually does pull away. So we can take the blur off here for now, because we don't really need them on right now. So yeah, so you want the back wheel to start spinning before you pull away to give you that spin. Now I've got it at here 0, it's at 0, and then I go not too far away, and I go right up to minus 395. So it's actually really rotating quite fast, and then I got it rotating a little bit slower afterwards. And the front tire I've got moving at 0, and then I move it, and it's down here it's plus 50. So yeah, those are the two things I've got going there, but always get the back wheel to start spinning first. Okay, so let's go back into your comp here. So that does that, right? So hopefully you understand and you can do that bit there. Now next thing is smoke. Now you can use Trapcode Particular, and I've used it myself quite a few times. It's problematic for me. Sometimes I can get on with it, sometimes I can't, and sometimes it just doesn't do what I want it to do. So what I did was I used Video Copilot's Atmosphere, Video Copilot's Action Essentials 2, and I used Atmosphere number 4, which is basically smoke blowing out, and I'll turn that on there. And I just 3D'd it, made it 3D layer, and turned it around so it would come out the back of the tire like that. Okay, now obviously it's pulling away and the smoke's still there, so we need to adjust that. And how to adjust that is, you don't want to put it in the pre-composed layer because you don't want it to follow the car all the way along. That doesn't look very good either. So what you want to do is just keyframe it. So let's open it up and keyframe the position. So at the moment the position, so we click on position, so we get a keyframe, and I'll move the keyframe up, and then it goes along, and then it pulls away. So let's get it to there, and then move it along to here, and then drag it along to there. And what I'm going to do with this smoke is also fade it out pretty quickly. But anyway, let's just move it along to there and say to there, and now go back to your place where it starts and go down to your opacity, and that's 100%. And then when you get to about there, you want it to be 0, because you don't, well, it's entirely up to you, it's your choice, but that's what I'd have, is probably 0 there, right? So let's just see what that looks like. Still going a little bit too soon there, as you can see, so you want to move it back some to there, move along, and that's not bad there, not too bad. Okay, so that's not too bad. So we got that going. I'll show you something else I tried with particular too. Okay, so the other thing that the other person asked for is how to do these skid marks on the road. Obviously the tires should leave a bit of a skid mark. Well, you go online and you check for skid marks, not them ones, tires for tires and everything else, and try and find a picture that you can actually use. Alright, now I found this one here online, which I'm going to use. Now obviously I don't need the both of them, but I'd like to try one or the other, and the way I do that is I click on it and I kind of like get my mask tool up here on the left, and I'll cut that along so that we've got that, and then just come along like this sort of thing, and that'll cut the other one out. So now what you want to do is click on that picture you just did that with and click Control D, which will give it a copy, and you want to go up and open it up, go to your mask that you've got and invert it. So basically what that will do is you'll have this one that you want, and you'll also have that one, which will be that. Oh, well, that's not very good, is it? No. So let's move that down there like that. There you go. So you've got either or picture to use, and I think I'm going to attempt to use this picture first to see what that looks like. Okay, now make sure it's, like I say, 3D, and let's see if we can tilt that to the ground, sort of make it look. Okay, that's not the one. No, we might need to use that though. There we go. Right, okay, so now you've got that, and obviously it doesn't look well. We still got the mask on. Okay, and nope. Now we get it, maybe, and move it down, and that you can make it smaller, and then you can move these like this. Now at the moment it looks like it needs to have something done to it, so let's try and change the the layer onto a different sort of thing. Let's try multiply. See, multiply, it seems to have come out pretty good there. So that doesn't look too bad. If we take a look at it, it doesn't look too bad. It looks probably a little bit sharp. So you might want to sort of go effect, get onto it of course first, and go effect and use your blur and go Gaussian blur, I think, on this one, and sort of just blur it out a bit. And while you're there, you can also your mask, you can feather your mask as well at the edges so that it looks a bit not quite so bad. So yeah, you can just feather them out. So that doesn't look too bad. A little bit on the sharp side here, I think. Let's see if we can get that in a bit there so it doesn't look quite right. So that's sort of the thing there. That's your skid mark, right? Now of course the thing is about it's not going to be there. Your car's there, so let's move this up and see where it actually is. And now we move this along, and it wants to probably make a mark like that there, I would say, on there. Okay, so at the moment, as you can see, it's on top of the wheel. So what the way to fix that? Okay, so if you get a situation like that where you can't seem to you think you can't get it behind the car, what you can do is, which is give you a better idea, is to click onto the active camera and go down and say top, because don't forget these are 3D layers, right? So there's the car layer there, which is the layer, and as you can see, this is in front of the layer. So what you want to do is click onto it and move it behind the layer, so that now the car should be, if you go active and now move this up, you will see now that is in actual fact behind the car now, as you can see. Right, it's behind the car. Right, okay, so let's assume we're going to go pull away, so there would be no skid mark here where it's showing, so we'll have to move that up like so, Right, now you wouldn't see the skid mark, so we're going to have to keyframe it. Now to keyframe it, you open it up, close. We can actually keyframe the mask, in fact. So let's do the mask. Right, so now we move the, oh, no, that's a bit be careful about that. Make sure you click on it like that. So you move the mask, say, up like that, right? And that should, and what you want to do is just slowly bring it into play, right? So there, nothing there, and then the car pulls away, right? So now you click on there and you move the mask. See, we've got the blur on here, we don't actually need it on at the moment. And then you move the mask up to the car, sort of thing. I can think that that kind of looks a bit sort of bland, really, doesn't it? But anyway, there you go. So there, let's see what it looks like. Let's actually run it. So let's sort of do that and see what we got going here. It's not too bad. So let's move along and see if it can get it a bit better looking. It may there, it's coming out too soon. So just spread your, there you go. And now we need to move it up. Like I say, this is a bit trickier, and what you might want to do is if you get this one done like this, then you basically just want to do the other one, just copy this and use that for the other side, because it will save you a lot of time. And now we still got some maneuvering here that's coming in. Like I say, this is very, very fiddly thing to do. And you can stretch it out so it looks a bit better, so you can get a better idea what's going on. I'm only going to do one, by the way, for this tutorial, so that you can see how to do it. So here we go. Ooh, and we've got some maneuvering of the mask after the fact. So let's move this up to there. Let's try that again. Like I say, you just keep on doing it until you get it right. It's still going down. Let's see why it's doing that. I see. We have another key frame here that we had. So yeah, that was all it was. Just the key frame was there. So now it should look all right. Okay, maybe a bit too dark. What do you think? It might be a bit too dark there. And of course, the best way of telling it what it really looks like is to actually render it out and have a look there. But I'm going to take a gamble on this and sort of just give it, take some of the sort of color out of it a bit, because it doesn't want to show that much. Okay, so there it is. That's what you do. And if you want to do the other one, you just say, let's just copy that one and then move it across and put it so it looks right. That's basically that, right? Now there's other thing I want to show you is that I tested was the Trapcode Particular. So we'll turn it on and here, and then we'll go back into your comp, and then we'll just render that out, which will take a few seconds, but hopefully you guys can wait for this. And I mean, I'm not going to show you about the lights because that's as you can see, I had something around the tire there. It was Trapcode Particular, but it didn't really work that well, so I'm not actually going to probably use that, but I'm not going to show you how to do that because it basically doesn't look that great, and it's not really what I was looking for. But as you can see, that's what you do. Hopefully you can get the idea of what's going on there, and you can always speed things up and so forth. Yeah, so that's that, and any questions, just let me know. This should be the last tutorial I'll do for quite some time. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, good luck with it anyway. Bye-bye.